everyone. Today I am going to show you how to make a relief sculpture of a snowflake using paper. We're going to be using origami folding techniques on paper. Now the reason we call this a relief sculpture is because all of the pieces here are attached to a piece of paper behind them, which is what a relief sculpture is when all of the pieces are kind of raised up or carved into whatever they're attached to. So you can kind of see this is raised up, and that's because of the folding that we're going to do for the little white pieces of paper. Now, the key to this is we need a lot of square paper, and a lot of times at home we don't have square paper. So things you need, you're going to need a dark paper. I use dark blue here, or black. And then 2 white papers, and I prefer the copy paper just because it's a little bit easier to fold. So if you have like a printer at home, that kind of copy paper works really well. If you have notebook paper that has lines on it, that probably look pretty cool too, so you could definitely try that as well. Now, you're also going to need a glue bottle and a set of scissors. So when we get started, the first thing we want to do is get the paper that we're going to glue onto ready. So that's our dark paper, and to do this we need to make it a square. Now, when we make something a square, what we do is we take the corner here and we bring it over to the other side of the paper so that it lines up. And once you've got it there, you're gonna crease the fold, okay? And we crease the fold. And then this leftover piece right here, we're gonna cut that off. So while it's folded, I'm gonna cut along that edge, nice and slow, make a nice straight line. And then, oh, I got a little sliver of the other piece. I don't need this piece anymore, so I can put that out of the way. But when I open this up, now I have a square piece of paper, and I just kind of flatten it back out. So that's how I make my paper square. So I'm also going to do that here for these 2 copy papers, and I can do them at the same time. If I line them up on top of each other, I can actually do it where it's at the exact same time. So I line that corner up to the opposite side. And if you need someone at home to help you with this, you can see I didn't do that perfect because the corner there is not lined up, so I might have to refold it. That's fine, okay? And if someone needs to help you at home with this step, that's fine too. Not a big deal. All right, so now that I've got that lined up, nice straight edge there, I can cut both these papers. Just cutting off that leftover so that these papers are square as well. So that's our first part there, is we gotta get the papers square. Now, once I do that, the next thing I'm gonna do, and I'll do this next part separately, so one of these at a time. I need to make little squares on this paper. So to do that, after I open it back up, is I'm gonna bring the opposite sides together. But I'm not just gonna do it once, because those pieces would be too big. I'm actually gonna do it twice. So while it's folded, I'm gonna fold it again and bring those opposite sides together. Okay, so that's the first direction. I'm making kind of my vertical folds there. Now I need to make my horizontal folds. So now I'm gonna bring it the other way. Try to make sure I line up my corners and my sides. The better you line this up, the more square your pieces are gonna be. Makes our next steps a little easier. And then I'm gonna fold and line it up one more time. Crease it again. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open it up, and I can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 by 4, okay? So that gives me 16 squares of paper. I am gonna then cut on the line. So I'm gonna use my folds as lines, and I'm gonna cut on the line. And then once I do that, then I cut on the line the other way, and it gives me these little pieces of folded paper, not folded paper, paper for folding. So that's how I need to do that. And you do want to cut both sheets up so that you have enough pieces. I already have some that I've cut up, so I'm going to move on now to the next step. You may need to pause the video while you do this, and that's fine. Our next step is going to be where we start making the pieces that we're going to glue on. And I have these 3 things that we can do with them. There's 3 different origami folds that we can make to make pieces for our snowflake. Now, the first one is called the helmet fold. And what that means is I'm gonna bring opposite corners together. And actually this one already has a crease there for that. So I'm gonna bring the opposite corners together. And then I'm gonna take these 2 corners and bring them down to that one. So I'm gonna line this one up first, so it's halfway, and then I'm gonna line this one up for the other half. And then you can see these kind of stick up. So I use these here at the ends of the parts of the snowflake. So that's the first, okay, the first type that I can make. When you make one of these, you need to make 6 of it. So I would actually say make 6 of each of these to start with, and then you might find that you want 6 more of something to fill out more of your snowflake. But start with 6. So 6 of these, which I already have made some here, so I'm gonna put that up there. The second fold is what we call the kite fold. So again, I'm bringing those opposite corners together. Whoops, popped right out of my hand. So opposite corners together first, okay? But this time then I'm actually gonna open this back up, and then I'm gonna take this corner and bring it to that center line I made, that crease line. And then I'm gonna take this corner and I'm gonna bring it to the middle, and then I'm gonna crease it. And if they don't line up perfectly, that's okay. So that is what we call the kite fold. And again, you should make at least 6 of those. I think I made 12 of this one. Then for my last one, it's actually a combination of a mountain fold and a valley fold. So the first thing I'm gonna do is the valley fold. So I'm gonna bring my opposite corners together again. But then this time, I'm gonna kind of rotate that this way. I'm gonna keep it closed, and then I'm gonna take the bottom part, so I'm pulling it apart here, and I'm gonna fold that up like that, and that's the mountain fold. Same thing on this side. Okay, and then when we glue these, I actually glue those tabs down, so it stands up kind of like that. So those are the 3 different folds you can make, and again, at least 6 of each. If you want to make more, oh, I have more on this one too. You can definitely make more. Now, once you've done that, you need to find the center part of your paper. If you need to find the center part, you've already got one fold. So I already had it folded this way. If I fold it the other way, and then I just kind of pinch the middle there, whoops, that helps me find the middle point of my paper. I can see it now where the folds intersect. So that's the middle of my paper there. So then I can decide what I want to start with. I can start with any of these pieces, but I'm gonna need 6. So kind of bring out 6 and make sure the middle points are coming to the middle. I'm not gonna glue anything just yet. I'm gonna kind of get them down on here and see if this is what I like first. So, okay, so right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So then there's 5 and 6. Okay, so I can do that to start with. It's kind of cool because it kind of makes that little star shape in the middle there. So I could start with those, and it could be that piece that I start with, but maybe it's not. Maybe I decide to start with these instead. So whichever one you want to start with is fine. You just have to get 6 on there and kind of line them up before you start to glue. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so with this one over here, I started with these, but I think for this one, I'm gonna start with these. So once I kind of space them out correctly, kind of get them lined up where they should be, then I'm gonna go ahead and start my gluing. So I'm using a glue bottle. You could probably use a glue stick, but I think glue bottle glue sticks a little better. So I'm just gonna put some dots of glue on the back, and then find that center point to start with. I'm gonna line these up, and I'm gonna do the 2 opposites together first. That way I know that they're lined up. So then I'm gonna put some dots of glue on the back of this one, and there we go. And then, so I got my opposites like that, okay? So then these 2 will be opposite, and these 2 will be opposite. So the next 2 I do, I think are gonna be these 2. And I'm just using 4 dots of glue to glue that on. I'm gonna line that up. Probably make sure I've got enough space. Yep, that'll work. And then I'll do the opposite one. Glue that down. And then do the last 2. Now already it does look like a snowflake, but I have all my other parts I want to add in too with the other types of folds. All right, so now I have to think of which one I want to add to this. So I could come in and I could add these on, or maybe I add that on next. Whichever way you want to do it is fine. I think, I don't know, maybe if I decide, kind of planning ahead here, maybe it's something like that. Or gonna start with this one, and then I'll use this maybe actually in between like that. All right, so when I glue on this one, I just need a little dot on each one of these little tabs because those are what's gonna stick. And then I'm gonna kind of add that to each end of my snowflake. So I'm going all the way around with this. So I'll need 6, that's why I said to fold 6. I kind of wiggle these so they lock into place a little bit better. All right, now for the last one that I have, there we go. I can use it more than once if I want. So in this one here, I did the 6 big parts, but then I added in some in-between stuff. So you can certainly incorporate the last one. Oops, that came back up. You can incorporate it onto the ends of these if you want, or you could figure out kind of how to sort of sandwich it between them. That's really entirely up to you to figure out. All right, there we go. So it's just a matter of kind of playing with it. I think I kind of like the idea of lining up the parts so that they touch there. So I think that's how I'm going to add in that last piece on this one, where it kind of sits in between. All right, so now I'm just going to put actually one big dot on the back of this. Get it lined up here, and then kind of wiggle that a little bit to get it in place. And if you want to make more pieces and add on, you can definitely do that. Like I said, I used a lot more pieces on this one than I'm using here, but it's up to you to kind of figure out how your snowflake's going to come together in the end. So if you want to make more folded pieces to do more things with, you definitely can. These actually look pretty cool when you start to like layer them, so like one's tucked under the other. That can make it really interesting. Same thing with these. They look kind of cool when you add on another one like that, because then you kind of have this nice sort of zigzag pattern that the edges create. So you can definitely keep going and make more and more. So after you kind of, I'll show you the rest of these here. So then after I get done with those, I can choose to use some of my other pieces and go back in and add some more stuff. All right, so I hope you have fun. I'll see you later.